I finally get to announce what I've been doing for the past 5 or 6 months now, maybe even longer. But I've been working on the mod Sim Settlements Rise of the Commonwealth, or as Kinggath mentioned in his recent video, Sim Settlements Rise of Far Harbor. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I promised Kinggath that I wouldn't mention anything until he released the patch I was helping out with, which makes sense, but I've been so eager to tell you guys. The only people that know are the ones on the Sim Settlements team, obviously, my patrons, and anyone who is astute enough to pick up on all the subtle clues I've put in my videos. So I worked on Longfellow's Cabin and Dalton Farm, and in this video I'm going to show off a little bit of the level 3 Longfellow build, but I don't want to give everything away, so I'm really just going to talk about my involvement, the idea we have for the build, and show off a couple of my favorite parts. So real quick, I came on as a lead level designer. I think that's the right title. But basically, I get with the team to bounce around ideas for the settlement, then I design the entire layout and build up the structures. And like with every Sim Settlement build, this was a team effort and I cannot take credit for all of this. I designed the layout and built the structures. The decorations were solely CynicalBounce and Donald Strong, who both did an incredible job, as you can see. The only thing I did after it was completed was a walkthrough to sign off on everything and make some last minute adjustments, which I didn't have to do because it was perfect. Chord, contain your excitement. Contain your excitement. But yeah, the idea I have for this was to basically give the actual Far Harbor Pier across the way a run for its money. This is a huge settlement, and I wanted it to be a whole town with shops, bars, industrial areas, residential areas, and some pretty cool attractions. And with Far Harbor, I like building things up pretty high, like on shack foundations with walkways that connect to each other and go over your head. Like this part for me is magical. I love the idea of walking into this settlement, following this path, and being surrounded by all the shops, the ladders, the walkways, bridges, string lights. It just came out exactly how I pictured it. And it seems so lively and connected since there's a lot going on and a lot of places where you can access the higher walkways. So we have a couple of attractions in here, like this building. This is the tavern. We made this as a thank you to Longfellow for letting us rebuild on his island. And I wanted it to look like a brewery, so that's why we put tanks in the back filled with beer. And oh my god, what happened to you? Why are you in the floor? Another attraction is the hotel. Since this is a full town, I wanted a spot for traders and travelers to get some shut-eye after getting plastered at the tavern across the street. You see how I positioned those buildings perfectly? Yeah, I'm in it for the caps. So this is the hotel, which is full of residential plots. I think there are like around 10 or so. I could be wrong, but there are a lot. My favorite thing about these buildings is that I spent a lot of time making them an unusual shape. Not that I think they look weird or anything, but I wanted to make sure that they are not just cookie cutter barn shapes that we usually see. So I paid a lot of attention to where I was putting in the pillars and the shape of the roof and that sort of thing. It's not really something that you notice right off the bat, which is good because you don't want your structures to stick out too much. You want them to blend in with the rest of the build and at the same time be different enough to be eye-catching when you walk up to it. I don't know. I'm going to stop now because it just sounds like I'm patting myself on the back. The shipyard was the most fun to build. This is where they work on their ships and equipment for going out fishing or trading goods to other parts of Far Harbor. I don't know, it was a lot of fun to make. I really enjoy making things that look like they're hanging or being raised up, like these boats over here. And, you know, if I'm being completely honest, I just wanted to show off how I put these beams on top of these, like, railroad cart things. I am kind of bragging about that. It looks cool, and I love it. The boardwalk over here isn't really an attraction, but I at least wanted to walk through it. It's like another marketplace. So we have the proper shops over to the left and all the buildings, and then more of an outside market over here. You know, you see that a lot at beaches. You have the boardwalk with a few vendors and shops, and then the strip right next to it. That's kind of what I was going for. And the last thing I want to show you guys is the lighthouse. This was the first thing that I built here and what I'm most excited to show you. I had to rebuild this a few times because I was learning how to rotate and scale items with place everywhere, which is a huge pain in the ass until you really figure it out. So I love this building, and I also hate it all the way to my core. But this is the main attraction, so I wanted it to have a really interesting structure like the multi-level roofs and the windows on the side, and to have a really cool theme, which turned out to be a museum. So this first area is the gift shop, which is a must for all museums, and back here is where all the exhibits are. Now Kinggath had this idea and it's genius. Basically, right now the museum is empty because I didn't want to give anything away, but as you complete and play through certain quests, you will automatically unlock these exhibits, and to figure out which quest you need to complete, you can read these plaques all around the room to get clues. It's really as simple as that. Once you complete the quest, the exhibits will spawn in. I loved that idea, and Donald Strong designed all the exhibits and they look amazing, so it's well worth completing those quests. Up top is the player home. I don't want to show too much in here, but I wanted these windows to actually be windows where you can see through them or at least have some light shining in, because at first I had them covered up because of how weird the design was. Originally I was just going to have a straight lower ceiling, but it took away from the exterior design, so I just built around it. I don't know, it's just something that I wanted to show you guys and that I was proud of, and to be like, see, we care so much that we want you to have windows. But that is basically all I wanted to show you. Like I said, I didn't want to spoil the whole settlement, but at least give you guys a peek at what's to come with level 3. And Donald Strong is going to post a video on a couple of areas as well to talk about them in more detail. So when he posts that, I will add his link to the description. I really hope you guys enjoy this patch, and huge thanks to Kinggath for bringing me on and letting me be a part of this. It's been so much fun, and I've learned so much and feel like my building has greatly improved because of it. I will be posting a video like this of Dalton Farm sometime next week, so be sure to check it out.